Guys, happy Saturday, May 24th, 2025. There's a lot of baseball today. There was actually like a sizable early slate, afternoon slate. I was like, I just go live now and get that out the way, because 8 games on that, and that slate locks in 2 hours. Then we got a 5-game night slate, so push the start time up. Like you guys were ready for it. What up, Cujo? What up, Travis? What up, Nate? Dustin? Earth to Air? Don in the chat. Neto got you last night. Do you know what got me? Freaking the Red Sox Orioles game getting postponed. I had Devers and Ryan O'Hearn. Like, yoink. Oh, and then Jorge Polanco got me, and he got subbed out for Mitch Garver. Onward and upward. All right, we're gonna do some red sheeting. A lot of lineups out already for this early slate. So looks like the Fanduel version of this slate doesn't have the Fenway game, but the DraftKings version. Well, that's good for us. Most of the lineups out. Let's get to typing. Get to analyzing. PK early in the MLBGrind.com premium spreadsheet. 4:05 p.m. Eastern for our first game. Giants in the National. Confirmed lineup. Yastrzemski, Elliott Ramos, Jung-Ho Lee, Wilma, Flores, Matt Chapman, Willie Adames, Lamont Wade Jr., Rick Bailey, and Kyle Harrison, a lefty pitching. National side, CJ Abrams, Ahmed Rosario, James Wood, Nate Lowe, Herbert Ruiz, Paul Luis Garcia Jr., Alan Hobbit the third. There's 2 others. Not a lot of people know about that. Green light those 2 runs. 4.8 run total for the Giants. 3.9 Nationals. Go see if Mr. Roth all right, cool. Let's go find some outs. Put up our pitcher projections as we go. Kyle Harrison, what do we got here? 5.1 innings. That's just from a 1 appearance. It is not. So we got an opener situation here. Harrison will take over the rotation spot that previously belonged to Justin Verlander, who's out with a pectoral injury. Placed on the injured list Thursday, the 23-year-old lefty has made 4 relief appearances since being recalled earlier this month, allowing 2 runs, 7-3 strikeout to walk ratio over 5.1 frames. Harrison has been starting at AAA Sacramento prior to his call-up, but hasn't pitched more than 2 innings in over 3 weeks, so he's likely to have limited workload. National. All right. Oh. Pitcher props. See if we can else here. We're giving him 14.5 with a little steam on the over. Cool. Then we got Jake Irvin at 17.5. So let's start with that. 17.5. And then let's go do a little Kyle Harrison research. Well, we might put his A-rate at? The minors this season, 26 innings pitched, 38 strikeouts. Good God Almighty. That's got to be Kane. 131 on the whip. Speaking of strikeouts, yo, what about Noah Cameron, Royals? Yeah, that was a cool click. The high whip, high K guy is the whip, the walks. Yes, it is. 11 walks in 21 innings versus righties. Two homers in 21 innings. So, you can hit homers off of them. Draw walks as a example. We got here in the minors. Let's go to the last year. 99.1 innings righties last year. 59 strikeouts, so way less than a strikeout per inning there. 36 walks, still a big walk problem. So I in the majors are 33% walk rate. I'm gonna give them 24% K rate. That should be fair. Jake Irvin on the other side, 16.1% K rate this season in 6 innings. I think it's fair to keep riding with that. And then the walk rates. Harrison tends to walk righties high clip. Well, he is facing a lot of gosh dang lefties in this Nationals lineup. What the freak? Abrams, Wood, Lowe, Garcia, Lyle, Hassel. Got a question. Dude, he's at 4 Ks. A lot of freaking lefties did. And he had some crazy K numbers. Lefty, 12 Ks and 9 innings. Here. 24 innings, 29 Ks. So over a K per inning for him to face a lot of lefties. So if we follow Vegas, we're teaming him to 5 innings. Give him a K per inning, 5. So if 4 is a push line, that might be worth taking a shot at the over. But he is limited, so. Dude, I might even raise this K rate. Let's go 26%. Then walk rate here. So he does walk righties at a high clip, but only facing a couple of those too. Might just give him a 10% tax, and that's probably a little too high. A little something. Walk rate for Irvin. Go. That gives me 4.82 all hair. That seems crazy. Giants do have a lot of strikeouts in their lineup. Just Jung Ho Lee and Wilmer Flores make you work for it, but Irvin's not really a strikeout. They're giving me matchups that stand out. Well, Harrison does allow homers to righties. Not a lot of power here in this lineup. Not running for that. Irvin, inversely, a lot of power to both sides, but especially lefties. 182 homer per 9 this season to lefties. The aggregate 1.6 plus, maybe a 1.8 over the last 3 seasons. So Mike Yastrzemski in that leadoff spot's interesting. Probably the most. I had to chip in a chair somebody to send one. Probably go Yaz. How do we rank this out? I kind of don't, but I kind of do. Like the thought of 6,100 Al Harrison. But this slate's also going to offer Michael King, Framber Valdez, Ryan Wu. So I don't know if it's a necessary evil. But at 6K, it does open up some Yankee bet. So, he's not off limit. But it's probably strictly a DK. This reminds me of the other day where we got Ryan Yarbrough against the Rangers. Like he didn't go 5 innings, but while he was out there, he was able to put enough fantasy points at that price point. And his Nationals team is not a team that we target for strikeouts anyway. But if he can go out there and hold his own against a lefty heavy lineup and get us a shot at 15 fantasy points at 6,100 from the SP2 spot, that might be worth an SP2 spot if it means Coors, Yankees, right? Where's Freed at? Freed was on 8,300. How does that happen? Why did that happen? Coors? That's it? Come on. All right, well. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't look at prices earlier. Max Freed at 8,300 is kind of ridiculous. Train of thought. Carl Hire. I'm not running towards much, but I could take a Giants maybe Substack. If we dip into Irvin's just contact profile, his power to lefties, backed up by a pretty putrid bullpen, and it could turn into some quality innings here for the Giants, who tend to get forgot about because their home park is so pitcher friendly. Not that they have an amazing offense, but they do have some names that could certainly do much better on the road than at home. This is not like the boost ballpark like a I don't know, Citizens Bank or Great American, but it's not Oracle. It definitely plays a lot better for lefties and righties, but it's not impossible to go out there and get some stuff done, especially against a bad bullpen. So I'll go Harrison for DraftKings SP2. Then I'll take a shot at some Giants Substacks, and I guess maybe I'm sleeping on the Nationals as a Substack. I do like this team a little bit better against righties. Grabbing some upside, DFS upside. Guys like that. Abrams really isn't off limit. And we'll go substacking. Substacking. What up, Choke? Appreciate that. What up, Psyop? Question with DFS GPP: do we look for pitchers who can get 5 Ks or better? Get 25 fantasy points each pitcher. How many Ks would you say they had to have? Yankees last night. Yeah, Yankees. Sometimes you get that. For DraftKings, yeah, you want to be really into strikeouts and efficiency, because you do get taxed for hits and walks. So Fanduel, I don't weight strikeouts as heavily because you do get a big boost for a quality start. I think it's like 6 fantasy points or 4 fantasy points. I don't even know. And you don't get taxed for hits and whatnot, so you can get away with those contact guys. But yeah, we are looking for strikeout upside on both sides, but especially DraftKings. 25 fantasy points, that's a good mark to shoot for. 20 plus, it's also a safe spot to shoot for. There are baseball, every slate's different, right? Some slates are not going to give you a couple pitchers that can give you 30 plus point upside, but you do get some double barrel ace slates where, all right, I'm gonna pay up for pitching and just let the bats fall where they fall. And then sometimes you get a really ugly pitching slate, whether it be matchups or weather or parks or not day 1, day 2 starters. So it is a little subjective to the slate, but generally, yes, on DraftKings, I'm looking for efficient pitchers with strikeout upside, and usually over 20 fantasy too. And it these are things, every night in the contest that you're playing. At the end of it, don't just say, "Oh, I didn't cash, F me." Start clicking the top of the field, man. Look at the top of your tournaments, and seeing how pitching is performing, how lineups are being constructed up there. That'll give you a lot of information. Now, not don't take one day and run from it from there, but just be cognizant of it every day. What won, what didn't. Moving on to the next game here, Pirates hosting the Brewers. Like I said, on DraftKings, you don't even have to be in some contest. You can go look at anything that's live and track what the Sharks are doing too. But me personally, I always prioritize pitching. Some people will have a massive pitching pool. I mean, and that's just my approach, my strat, right? So when my pool does good, usually I can do good. When I'm super diverse and spread out, like I always say, if I have more than 6 pitchers in my pool, it might be a tough night for me. Because wait, and that's why you see when I do my stream, I'm pretty much just looking at the pitchers and going from there, because pitchers you want will tell you the hitters you don't. The pitchers you don't want will tell you the hitters you do, or at least for me. Where other streams, and it's not a knock, I love how everyone has their own approach. Like I always tell you guys, my boy Terry, you watch him, Terry will go into the hitters, and I think that's like a great compliment to those of you that watch both of our streams. I'm pretty pitcher tense. Second game on this early slate, Brewers and the Pirates. Both lineups confirmed. We got Quinn Priester taking on Mitch Keller. Neither pitcher, probably somebody I want to get to. A run total of 4.3 for the Brewers. For the Pirates, the 4.4. Mitch Keller, 19% carry rate this season, 8.3% swing and strike rate. Missing barrels, that's good. Elevated ground ball rate to righties, that's good, especially against this Brewers lineup that comes out with just 3 lefties, pretty spaced apart. But his splits against lefties are worrisome. A 300 plus average to lefties, 1.19 home run per 9, and 31% line drive rate. So Turang, Yelich, and Bowers all could take advantage of that. Obviously, all eyes on Yelich. Yelich has been kind of rough overall in the last couple months. Did have a 2 home run game the other day here in Pittsburgh, and then followed up with a 2 hit day. So maybe that's something that can make you guys encouraged to click him in today's matchup. But man, Yelich batting under 200 on the season is pretty crazy. OPS under 660. So I think that's kind of the story of the Brewers season, though, is they started with some eyes open. Jackson Chourio, William Contreras, Yelich, and Rhys Hoskins. That should be your lane that carries this team, and they've been kind of off and on. Now, Rhys Hoskins, we spotlighted yesterday. He has been just fine. He's had a solid season, and those in the know have kind of pointed at the torpedo bat and credited that. So I certainly don't look away from him, but the lack of deliverance, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, from the rest of the team over the course of the season in PNC Ballpark does have me worried, and trust issues here. But if I were specifically going to target Mitch Keller, it would probably be that lane: Chourio, Contreras, Yelich, and Hoskins, and we'd be looking at Yelich to really take advantage of the splits in front of him. But I guess I wouldn't completely dismiss Bryce Turang. So inversely, Quinn Priester, big contact pitcher, 1.47 on the whip. His lefty splits are pretty atrocious himself. 1.5 home run per 9 with a 17% walk rate. Does have an elevated ground ball rate, and the average allowed is pretty low. But there's enough upside in these splits that you want to immediately look at O'Neal Cruz, who had a pretty good day at the plate yesterday, and no reason for him to not be able to curtain call that and keep it going. 2 homers yesterday, has had a hit in 3 straight games, has had a run in 4 straight games, and he can steal bases as well. You're seeing in his last 4 games basically a microcosm of how he can contribute fantasy points, right? 2 homers yesterday, 4 games ago, 2 stolen bases, and his ability to draw walks is there as well. And all that, like, his upside is basically the absolute match against Quinn Priester's weaknesses, right? Walk rates and power. And if O'Neill can walk, he can steal, and if have pitches to swing at, he can homer. So looks like a good spot for O'Neill Cruz to hurt and call what he did yesterday. Neither pitcher probably making my pool here for this one. Let's go Pirates. 1 through 4 I can get to. I don't know. To me, when I think Substack, I'm thinking 3 or less. I'm gonna go Pirates because we know the Brewers bullpen is also beatable. And then Brewers as well, but it's not like a massive level of confidence. And it is a lot of O'Neill looking good. Now, I'm also seeing wind blowing to center. That's another great boost. Anything about this Pittsburgh wind? Wind's out the center at 10. So, I'm going to give it a small boost. So, 0.3 of a point for weather. And then, rating. Figured O'Neill Cruz would be a little bit higher, but we're going to go 3. Do I go position by position? I tend to go game by game. I used to do these streams with the casting. Sometimes the format would call position by position. I hate that for all sports. For me, it's just so much easier to go game by game and just tell the story of a slate that way. Especially with baseball. O'Neill Cruz. What's the difference in the GPP core, regular core for DK? So I wouldn't concern myself with having a core for baseball unless it's pitching. For me, it's pitching. And like I said, everybody has their own strat. For baseball, I guess it really depends on how many lineups you're running and if you're making them by hand. If you're making them by hand, human error or human instinct, kind of fall in love with a couple names. But when I think of core, like I used to run 20 lineups for NBA, I would have 4 or 5 guys at 40% ownership in my pool. That would be my core. I don't ever see myself pouring 4 or 5 guys in baseball at 40-50% if it wasn't a pitcher. I wouldn't really stress myself out on creating a core for baseball. Now if you're running 3 lineups or whatever, maybe get into falling in love with 3 stacks, 4 stacks, and your core is like a couple of the leadoff guys and you can't get away from them, sure. But in baseball, if you're running 20 lineups or more, your heavy thinking should be on the pitchers. Then you just kind of go from there, and run stacks. If you're not stacking in baseball, I highly recommend you do. It's that's the number one thing you'll take away from first place every night in tournaments. It's like 9 stacks. Probably higher than 9. Jesus. basically, I mean, it's baseball DFS 101. You don't know what stacking is this long and you've made it this far into the season. Good on you. But basically, because baseball is such a highly correlated team sport when it comes to scoring, meaning if a guy hits a double, gets a run, he got a run because the guy behind him made a hit, so on and so forth, that your lineup should be focused on teams. So 4 to 5 players from a team on DraftKings be a solid start for stack. When I say substack, I like to grab 2 or 3 guys from a team, usually correlated, meaning they touch in a lineup, whether it be 1, 2, 3, 9, 1, 2, something like that, or even with one space in between them. And it goes in with researching what you don't want. Total, both lineups confirmed here. We got Bryce Wilson taking on Jack Leiter. Little Meyer getting called up. Okay. You only put 2 lineups a day. Oh, if you're only doing 2 lineups, the word core shouldn't even be on your brain. Just if you're only doing 2 lineups, and this is me, if I was running a finite small amount of lineups, unless it was like single entry less than 100 people, I'd be pretty doggone different. Like yesterday would have been an elite day to not stack cores. If you're running 1 or 2 lineups and your lineup is reflecting the average ownership of the field, doing it wrong. Let's say you're in a bar, right? And there's like 20 people at the bar counter betting on coin flips. You know what I mean? And let's say the bartender's like, hey, everybody, put your money on heads or tails. And the winning side splits the money. Out of 20 people, you notice the 17 people in front of you all put their money on heads. There's like, man, heads has just hit 10 times in a row. It's got to stay high, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, that's right. I want to go heads too. Well, no, you want to go tails. Why? Because the cost, like if heads hits, you're sharing the pool with 18 people. But if tails hits, that money goes straight to you at a much larger rate. Does that make sense? Like if 3 people went tails, 17 people went heads, the winning side splits the money. Well, I want to be on the 3 side, knowing the odds are 50%. And that's kind of how you got to think about it in baseball. If I log in and I see Yankees 7.5 run total in cores, yeah, that looks good. And the human side of me is going to be like, yeah, it makes no sense to not think Aaron Judge is going to go nuclear. But if I only got 1 lineup, 2 lineups, I'm going to let the field have that. And I'm going to hope that my path to success is their path to failure, because they're all going to be holding hands at 60%. And if they hit, they hit, right? Like you're not going to jump them. But the probability hardly ever matches the ownership when ownerships get that high in baseball. So if a player gets to 40-50% on a 8-game slate and you're only running 1 or 2 lineups, it almost the right play every time to fade that player, unless he's just too cheap. But even then, still the right play to give up that ownership and leverage the field. Hills is What's up, Crease? Still learning when to eat the chalk and when not to. Yeah, if you're coming from a different sport though, eating the chalk in basketball or football, more so basketball, it's a lot different than baseball. The failure rate in baseball is so goddamn high. It's exhausting. I can't remember the last time I hit a 5 or 6 pick on PrizePicks, dude. It's exhausting. You just gotta understand that it's a grind. But like if you're only running 1 or 2 lineups, I wouldn't be contrarian for the hell of it, meaning I wouldn't stack the White Sox instead of the Yankees. But what I would do is find a couple teams that are geared, for success and good matchups, and knowing that all the ownership's going into one, the top two teams. Well, then I'd probably pick the third team or the fourth team, kind of go from there. And for me, I'm way more, just my approach. I'm way more likely to give the field the top owned offense. Most of the time, I'm in alignment with the ownership on pitching. Most of the time, sometimes I'm not. So if you're going to continue to run one or two lineups, I don't know. Stop playing what makes the most sense and start being a little bit more contrarian. You didn't play Judge. I played the other players. Yeah, Judge homered, but one of those homers at the price that. All right, White Sox hosting the Rangers. Jack Leiter taking on Bryce Wilson. Bryce Wilson, 12.4% K rate this season, sub 20% the last 3 years running. Really elevated expected ERA the last 2 seasons. Just not somebody you want to get behind. It's an unstoppable force, immovable object of stuck as the Rangers battle Bryce Wilson. I will give the Rangers credit. As much as they've sucked this year and fallen flat and just took in a big old dump in Mother Maggie's shoes when it comes to pitching gyms like DeGrom, man, they are wasting some elite performances. At least they don't roll the same lineup out every day. We've seen them DFA people. We've seen them switch stuff around. And that's kind of what we saw yesterday. We got Adolis Garcia, Marcus Semien. These are two guys that were kind of the heart of the lineup a couple years ago. Now batting 8th and 9th. So they're at least not, a definition of insanity, right? Keep doing the same thing, hoping for different results. So kudos to them for that. And that's been something that's been true all year. But man, without Corey Seager, there's not a whole lot to get excited about in this Rangers lineup. So I always say bad pitching, bad hitting beats bad pitching at the major league level. Today is going to be the litmus test on that one. What stands out against Bryce Wilson? Well, he allows a lot of power. It is a tough park to get power from. But if you wanted to chip in a chair, a couple bats here. Got 300 ISO since the beginning of last year for Sam Haggerty, a 200 ISO for a guy like Jake Berger. You can neutralize his 27% K rate with Bryce Wilson's 12% K rate this season, his sub 19% last season. Man, I hate to look at Jock Peterson, but I'll tell you what, 12% K rate against Jock, you're going to dare him to put the ball in play. There's a couple of bats that, okay, you suck here. But there's just no confidence in the Rangers here. You're just kind of putting chips on the matchup and also chips on the run total by Vegas at 4.8. Inversely, Jack Leiter, 18.5% K rate. The whip is getting better this year than it was last year. Still an elevated walk rate to both sides of the plate. Has brought the average allowed down immensely to both sides of the plate, but the xFIP is still pretty high. So the average allowed could be a product of luck, really. Let's go check out his BABIP. So Wesley, and that are Valdez and Fried solid pitching options for 4 p.m. slate. Yes. I don't know what they did with Max Fried, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. You guys that were here earlier, I basically got stopped dead in my tracks looking at Max Fried's price. How many pitchers have we played in cores? And Max Fried's essentially been the best pitcher in baseball, the AL for the most part, as far as just being good. This price makes no sense. If he was 10K today, I would still be looking at him against the Rockies. But 8K, Jesus, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm sure he's gonna get shelled now, but yes, the answer is yes. Where are we looking? We're looking at BABIP for. Yeah, 209 BABIP, 214 BABIP. So a little bit on the lucky side when it comes to BABIP for Jack Leiter. But White Sox overall K rate in this confirmed lineup, 22% aggregate. Kind of just a deal, right? All the way around. Not in love with either pitcher. If I had to push shot at a pitcher, I'd probably be looking at Leiter. We know somewhere in him is a guy that can generate strikeouts at some level. The White Sox have been a beatable team, and just a few guys in this White Sox lineup have an ISO worth kind of double taking. Otherwise, the ballpark's in his favor, the lineup's in his favor. 7,400. It would be crazier things that happen than Jack Leiter pushing 20 fantasy points at the price point against this lineup. But pre-flop, nothing in here really stands out. I do think there's, I mean, this is why the Rangers have failed all year, man. But you just look at matchups that they should succeed in. They should beat up Bryce Wilson at some of these price points. Give you a chance. But I'm gonna let this game be a wash here. If I get to cherry picking some one-offs, right? If I look at my lineups later and like a Sam Haggerty fell in line here, I'd let his 300 ISO chill. Wyatt Langford, guys like Jake Berger, even I don't mind. Is this a Jake Berger revenge series too? I think so. I think he played for the White Sox, so yeah, have fun with that. But that's probably the three names I would stick with. Maybe Josh Young as well. Once you started digging around into Garcias and Samians, I think I'm out. So in the player pool, I would be okay with Haggerty, Langford, Young. It is crazy to see almost min-price Jock Peter in this matchup. Me not be all in, and how do they rate grade out in the bottom? Highest Texas bat. Sam Haggerty came in second so far of all the games for us, and then a lot of Rangers. Chance of rain in Coors. Yeah. We'll see what he said. Coors is always gonna have rain delay chance. Chance of full and postponement remains. Oh. Alright, that's certainly worth noting. As you get into the summer though, Colorado and Tampa are like always gonna. Up your top stack, or still working on that, Ant? I think we skipped pitcher project. Go 15% on Priester. Let's go Mitch Keller. Ice Will. Lighter. Man, his walk rate to lefties is insane. For lefties. Go get some outs. Vegas, what are we thinking? Not much. Like I just put 15 flat on all these guys. 15 and a half. Might have to give him 17. Keller. One of those way better real life pitchers. Why do we park on driveways and drive on parkways? Speak for yourself, okay? I can't tell you how many garages I've just plummeted through. Always forgetting. What's up, Lorenzo? Early in the season, but versus lefty sliders added a sinker and uses it second most with almost 400 expected back. He should stop using it or throw it differently. All right, move on to some pitching that we can actually get behind. As Mega Man gets warmed up for his fight. What is this song? Got the Mariners taking on the Astros. Lineups are confirmed for this one. Cal Raleigh. Dude, I saw some list yesterday of Raleigh joining like Ken Griffey Jr. In like home runs through X amount of games. But basically, Cal Raleigh's better than Ken Griffey Jr. What I took away from it. Also, what the freak happened to Jorge Polanco? Did he get hurt yesterday? I was sweating him for a prop bet. Then I saw Mitch Garver came in for him. Now, he's not in the lineup. 190, 261, 310 last line through 13 games in May and will sit Sunday. Who broke Polanco? Homie was looking like a MVP. One of you coolers put money on him. Don't look at me. Isak Paredes, Jose Altuve, Christian Walker, Victor Berrettini, Jake Myers, Cam Smith, Zach DeZenzo. Go. Valdez toeing the slab. Both lineups confirmed. We get Brian Woo on the Mariners side. 3.6 run total for the Mariners. Astros 3.6. So great pitchers going at it. And if you look at Brian Woo's weakness, it's the elevated xFIP to lefties. Well, guess what? One lefty, and it's Victor Caratini in the Astros lineup. So we can hyper focus on this sub 3 xFIP, this 26% K rate, the sub 200 average allowed, the keeping the ball on the ground at a 50% clip. This is a really good split lineup for a pitcher with those type of splits. Inversely, Framber Valdez, 23.3% K rate. Added more Ks, you take Jorge Polanco out of the mix, you get into a lineup that, other than JP Crawford, who for some reason is leading off with this lineup, is all righties. You kind of get the inverse, right? Both sides of the pitching slab is going to be specifically for either pitcher. And you could look at Framber's righty splits, a 3 1/4 xFIP, a 23% K rate, also heavy ground ball rate. So this game might be done in 120 minutes, and we go from there. So absolutely both pitchers in play. You might even throw a blanket over this game, but these are the best two pitchers we've discussed so far. And to really shake it out either which way, Framber, you might get a little bit more implied length out, but I think both pitchers are. So where are we at? 18.5. You actually get more implied length out of Woo than Framber. I'm gonna give them both 18 outs. Both 3 points. So let's dip into these splits here. I'm gonna go 25% K rate for Woo. Framber, we're gonna go 23. Walk rate 4.5 for Woo. Framber. Gonna strikeout props we get. And it's boy. 5.5 for Woo. At, 6 for 5.5 and projection spit out 5.9 for Woo and 6.3. So I'm a little bit over the flat line, but obviously it's can't bet 5.6. Anyway, both pitchers best. Sock is ranking. Yeah, Isak went into Tampa and awakened. A lot of power. Kept it going yesterday. But yeah, that little revenge series down there in the Steinbrenner field, that was good to him and good to me too. That game. Let's keep it going. A couple more games on the early slate. Gonna go Cubs, the Great American Ballpark. Always a good time. Ansby Swanson batting cleanup. ECA, man. At this point, I just want to see him in every order number in the lineup and just see him homer from it. This guy just gets it done no matter where you put him. I think he should be the leadoff guy. That's just me. He hits dingers, so whatever. I just feel like with his OBP and his potential to steal, you put that in front of Suzuki and Kyle Tucker. Cool. And I get it. You're leading off Ian Happ for like his it's just switch hitting ability. Yeah, I feel like every time the Cubs are going off, like Ian Happ is not involved. It's just Tucker, Suzuki, PCA. Switch it up, man. Switch it up. The ghost of Joe Madden up there. Not conforming. Meanwhile, we got JP Crawford leading off against freaking Framber Valdez. What do I know? I cannot wait for a Crawford. Will Benson breaking the bomb detector day after day and just keeps getting it done. He had a 4 home run in a row streak coming back. We got Colin Ray taking on Andrew Abbott. Hey, Abbott! 4.6 is your run total for Cubs. 4.6 for the Reds. Colin Ray, a 19% K rate this season with a 1.2 whip. Not keeping the ball on the ground against righties, keeping the ball in the air. It's been a hard contact load to righties, but overall a 9% barrel rate, and against lefties, a 36% hard contact rate. More ground balls than fly balls, but a 20+% line drive rate. Might come up to catch up with him. Elevated xFIP, his ERA pretty obscenely outperforming some of his expected metrics. The Sierra 4.18, the expected ERA 4.13. So certainly some room for some regression in this Reds team. This particular version is kind of a fun, more flat team than one we had been seeing. Now they did send down what was the move? Was it Reese Hines for Garrett Hampson? I think that's what it was. They sent down Reese Hines. It was a fun power swing. But there's still some power in this lineup sleeping, right? So Will Benson, he's your typical strikeout or homer guy, 40% K rate against righties so far, but a 244 ISO. And you can cut down that K rate a little bit with Colin Ray's 20% K rate and 8% swing and strike rate. So there are some fun names to click in Great American, and this is kind of what I was talking about. If you're running finite lineups right now, I don't actually know. I guess I can go look what ownerships are, and maybe the rain and cores might shake things up. But let me see if I can back ownerships on this early slate. But what I'm talking myself into point wise is if you can get this game lower owned, or even this side of the game, the red side versus like the Yankees. The perfect example of how to get a little different. Let's see. For some reason on my side screen, I can never open up at the put it here. I don't want to give away their data, but that's the only way I could like. All right, so ownership wise, the Reds came in for eighth in ownership, and obviously the Yankees are number one by a mile. The Rangers, ironically, are number two. Baltimore, Boston, that game gonna be. Then the Cubs, Giants, and Milwaukee. So the Reds. This isn't Gun saying the Reds are a smash lock, but this is Gun saying if I had two lineups or one lineup like you were talking about earlier, chat, I would give the field all of that, and I would take this team against a contact pitcher in Great American, one of the most hitter-friendly parks, and just kind of go from there. Because I think this is the opportunity cost and the environment just really strong. If I'm going to be holding hands with 5% of the field while we watch other games, the park advantage versus Coors is almost better. You're going to probably get more homers in this park on average, and then like I said, the ownership. So I like the Reds a lot for tournaments, and if I was running just one lineup so far, I probably like the idea of this game stack because the Cubs weren't that high owned either. They're not low owned. They came in fifth, but the Yankees are absorbing so much ownership, so much that I certainly would be fading the Yankees if I had just one or two. So I like stacking this ballpark, really. You can make some fun lineups with Elliott, and you got to go up there and pay for Elliott 6K, and I think that's where people get a little hesitant. It's like, man, 6K, I might as well go invest in Aaron Judge or Ben Rice or Cody Bellinger, whatever that lineup is, and so on and so forth. So a little bit of game theory there. What up, Trey? Tribal Chief, get out of here. Speaking of streaks, how good has Ward been for LA? Dude, the Angels have been low-key good. And what a bumpy ride it is for the Angels. But the Angels, talked about it, they're fun because, they hit dingers. They do strike out. They are on their longest winning streak in 11 years. Winning 8 in a row and just getting it done. With the Taylor Ward being a big part of it. We saw Solera get involved last night. Zach Neto has been a beast. They don't have Mike Trout, and they don't really have good pitching. So I don't know. I don't know what to do if I'm an Angels fan or Angels ownership. But what I do know is the American League as a whole really kind of sucks. So if there was ever a year to go steal a championship, you let the National League cannibalize themselves, do what they do. But yeah, I mean, especially the American League West, you could grab a wild card pretty easily. If not, just straight up, 4 games back from the Mariners, and we've seen some skid opportunities there. I don't know how I would play that, but it's fun to watch. The American League sucks, dude. Compared to the National League, good God, dude. I'm a Yankees fan, so I'm like chilling over here. But I've kind of made this argument when we kind of poo-poo on the Rockies as being the worst team of all time. Why try? Why blow money in that division? Dodgers, Giants, Padres, D-backs. Why not just tank? Gather resources, save up. There's just no hope in that division. So I think that the true fix would be to just blow up divisions and go from there. But that's not likely to happen on a regional sport like baseball, where you kind of don't like change and you don't like to see. Maybe they'll do just straight up conferences, but while the system is what it is, the American League is wide open. So if you get hot, Angels fans, you know, maybe you get Mike Trout back and you're like, all right, we're just a couple pitchers away from Magic Cinderella story. Have some fun with it, man. Enjoy the ride. And win the World Series. You only got to beat one of the NL teams because man, the NL is stupid. We say you have married in today. His numbers look so good. But would you say you have married in today? His numbers look so good. Yeah, I guess I would say that. I have no idea what you mean by that, and I think you got auto-corrected. Yankees burned me the other day. I'm off. Bullfish. All right, Andrew Abbott, Colin Ray. We talked about Ray being somebody I don't mind attacking here. Abbott has a 30% K rate. Been pretty good results-wise so far, but it does feel a little bit flimsy. The 4.2 xFIP, the 1.8 ERA on a 2.25 expected ERA, those two numbers are good. The 30% K rate's good, but the 11.2% swing strike rate, it's not like that number is usually not 1-to-1 with a 30% K rate. It's usually going to be like a 14% swing strike rate for someone to sustain 30%. So we got to do a little bit of digging, and ultimately we don't have to go splitting the atom here because it is the Cubs and it is Great American Ballpark, and Cubs are just good. But what the freak is going on here? Such a pain. K rate. So in 3 of his last 5 games, he had a sub 9% swing and strike rate. Against Cleveland, 15.6%, and then he had a game against Baltimore at 9. So all those games, 5.79 xFIP against Cleveland. Chicago, strength of schedule on his side, a 103 xFIP against the Braves is pretty. 6.38 against St. Louis. Strikeouts. This called strike. 1.4% called strike. I'll be honest, I don't think these numbers long term give me a 30%. But clearly he's not a strikeout getter. But he is facing a team that's hard to strike out. Ian Happ, Suzuki, PCA. It looks like you're most susceptible to strike out against lefties. Overall, this lineup is a lineup you're gonna have to scrap through. So yeah, there's a chip in a chair for his 30% K rate to rear its head, but there's a lot going against him. One of the most potent offenses in one of the most potent ballparks. So I think we're going bats first, and then yeah, so Cubs is the flatter stack. We'll get to them. Then we'll go Reds. Oh, you guys get into some Abbott. We got on Alge. In 16. I would just go with whatever the projection gets. I guess it's one of those you gotta take the gut out of it. For his K rate, I'm gonna give him a 27. Walk rate for Ray, we're gonna go. Oh Jesus, 76. Calm it down. And for Abbott, a lot of righties in that lineup. So we'll go. Did we say 60? His XBAs are crazy. Abbott seems to be all over the place game to game. Are you seeing that? Expected batting average 62, 135, 185, 187. Yeah, I am sleeping on him. Last year, 66, 208, 285. causing this, Jake? Lost a mile per hour on the fastball. Changeup's the same. Super close to being. 5-degree change in arm slot. Is that the culprit? Oh, you meant Max Fried? Points per dollar, I do like Fried a whole heck of a lot. You are going to be dancing with potential weather. Fried's a dog. Woo, Fried. Yeah, Woo, Fried, Valdez. A short list from memory so far. Got O'Hearn, Holiday, Story, Devers, Duran, Mullins, Kersted, Catcher, Bias. Okay, so you're really high on the Fenway game. Makes sense. Getting smoked constantly. Better at NFL and PGA, but MLB is so fun for low-key weekends. Yeah, MLB is, if you just accept that it's hard. No, and don't like chase losses. It is what it is. It's to me, it's my favorite sport to watch, and it's one of those slow developing sports. Like if I was mass entering on basketball, I couldn't really watch 8 games at once and just like enjoy it. It's just overload, sensory overload. Baseball, it's an at bat, batted ball event by batted ball event. You can kind of sweat the at bat. It's just fun. You get that slow dopamine release or anger. I don't know. I guess you get that with golf. I've never really sweated golf. I don't understand golf. Don't watch it. But it's huge. There's so much money in it, so I know I'm missing out. But I bet you could sweat those strokes. And have fun that way about it. No idea what's making Abbott so good, because nothing says he should have a 30% K rate, and he's. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe they got some stuff like unicorn, but the 5-degree arm slot difference this year to last year, that's the only thing that like stands out to me. I guess we just gotta see it play out a little bit more. I guess with that said, there's not a 0-sum outcome for Abbott to do decent, so let's just run it like that. When I give him what we gave him, spit out 23 Fanduel, about 13 DraftKings points. That feels a little light. I made a little change to the DraftKings formula to where it's a little bit more taxing. So it looks a little bit more like what the industry projections are. I don't think I was weighing enough on hits. All right, what else we got here? We got the Padres and the Braves. Dude, is it late about the start? No, it's got an hour on this. I'm over here yapping about golf, and this state's about to. Okay, we're good. All right, Padres and the Braves. Yo, shout out Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back yesterday. First pitch he saw is Yabo bartender. Jack. Confirmed lineup for the Padres. Padres are kind of like the opposite of the the Angels lately, or they can't seem to win with the talent they have and the start that they got off to. But that's baseball, Susan. Ebbs and flows. Drake Baldwin batting second. Marcelo Zuna, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Alex Hugo, Ozzy Albies. Second, Nick with Grant Holmes on the bump. Like both of those lineups. Run total for the Padres 4.3. Braves 4.4. We got Michael King taking on Grant Holmes. 28% K rate for King so far this season. A pristine 102 whip. He is allowing some homers to righties. 1.42 home run per night. That's kind of a rolling career high to righties, if not at least just a 3-season high. So we kind of expect that to come down. The hard contact rate's not like insane. The 43% fly ball rate's not insane, but what it is insane is the barrel rate, almost doubling from last year to 11.3%. So that that explains that. And you're gonna not want to hit the barrel of Ronald Acuna, Marcell Ozuna, Matt Olson, Austin Riley. You want to thrive and survive, but he is still really, really good. Expected ERA under 3. K rate to both sides of the plate elevated. This aggregate K rate for this Braves lineup against righties since the beginning of last year is at 20%. So 1-5, and it's pretty half and half. Baldwin, Verdugo, Albies, and Michael Harris. Those are the guys that are going to give you fits. Now, 3 of those guys have negative WRC plus, not negative, but less than 100 WRC plus against righties. So even if they put the ball in play, you're dabbling with low averages, low ISOs, low OPSs. Really Drake Baldwin that is not striking out, combined with high ISO, high OPS, and high WRC plus. That also might be a little bit of a small sample. Got 95 plate appearances. So it's not nothing. And then inversely, Grant Holmes, a 23% K rate for him, 4 on the ERA, 4.54 on the expected ERA. He's also allowing power, this time to both sides of the plate, with a 14% barrel rate. So strikeout ability is there, but also the shot at a homer is there. And in Truist Park, it plays a little bit more friendly to lefty bombs, so maybe keep an eye on Jackson Merrill. 221 ISO, 893 OPS, taps in pretty nicely against the high walk rate, high power rate of Grant Holmes. So Holmes also allows homers to righties. We know Tatis and Machado can tattoo them. So that's kind of what I'd be looking for this game, is who gets the solo shots. Hey, who can tap into King's righty power? Can Acuna stay hot? Ozuna get into one? And then inversely gets into Holmes. Neither team has like an insane run total, but enough worth noting. Both bullpens have been fine. So I'm gonna go Michael King, and that's kind of it. I guess I would not want to stack either team. The Braves adding Acuna certainly flattens this lineup out. This 1 through 5 becomes really fun. Good mix of power. A couple of like Acuna could still run the bases pretty well, but we're not getting to a whole lot of goodness. And the Padres bullpen is solid. Who was it I saw? Yes, was it the Mariners closer? On a real Zach Britton thing. Munoz? Wait, you guys know what this guy's doing? He's a 0 ERA, 23 games with 17 saves, 2 blown saves. That's kind of a funny blown saves with a 0 ERA. Inherited runners and getting it going. All right. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I guess we'll let this. Right on King, Grant Holmes. Jesus. Walk rate. 12% outs. 16.5, 16.5. Cool. Golf's a snooze fest. I feel like in every man's life, there's two moments that are inevitable for them to become an old man. One, they randomly start liking country music. 2 years ago, I hit that level. And two, all of a sudden they're into real golf or disc golf. So far, I've been fighting that off with everything in me. But dudes love golf, man. I don't know. That's something my brain's never been able to get behind. I definitely don't hate on people that are into it. You know, everyone has their own likings. I'm a grown man that pretends to beat people up on the weekends and play Fortnite. I got no room to hate on people. It doesn't appeal to me. But there's a lot of freaking money in it. I know that. I kind of wish it did, but man, I've tried. Don't get it. Now, if they had DFS for putt-putt golf, come on. I bet I'm getting cussed out by a lot of people right now on their side of the monitor. This mother effer doesn't know the lore of the Masters. I don't know. I wish I did though, because all my friends that I follow on Twitter, dude, they sweat the crap out of it. Happy for them. All right, we got a little bit of weather here in Coors. We do have firm lineups. Like I said, Coors is always going to have some weather as we get into the summer. Pop-up showers, blah, 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 blah. Most of the time, Coors will play. We have seen them and probably will see them wait till like 1 in the morning to finish games. Luckily for us, this game is a day game. They probably don't have to wait too much. I'll refresh Mr. Ross' weather report. And he said some storms popped this afternoon. I think the chance of a delay is around or maybe even a bit higher than 50%. But the chance of a full-on postponement remains relatively low. It would basically take a monster storm flooding the field. Possible, but unlikely. So, I'll give him a rain delay. And if you guys played the Mets game yesterday, you know, it sucks. Especially if you're into pitchers. But we'll give Rob a think. With that said, if you can get around the weather scare, there's an incredible discount on Max Fried on DraftKings at 8,300. This is a 10K pitcher against a 10K lineup. And this is, you know, I don't care if they're playing on Mars. I might be pitching against the Rockies with one of the best pitchers in the American League. So I'm gonna put Max Fried and understand we're taking. Let's go Yankees offense first of all. But understand we're taking a risk with Fried. Risky due to rain. And on top of that, when he's not striking you out, he is a ground ball pitcher. You can get a wet ball field with Yankees defense that can be sus at times. But the opportunity at that price point is just too low to not take a stab at. And like I said, Max Fried's kind of a dog, so I wonder how long a rain delay's gotta be for him to not out there. Morgan Wallen's not country music. Okay, but Morgan Wallen's a gateway drug. Got me into big time Shabuzi, Hudson Westbrook, Ecos in the Rooftops, you know, just like not mainstream stuff, you know. Put up Cage. Golf tends to stick after you get one great shot, then you just chase dopamine until you don't suck. Might be forever. That's my DFS career. I don't get how the Rockies so bad. like I said, if I'm the Rockies, ownership, I'm cool with being bad because that division is just, you don't have a chance. You try all you want in that division, you don't have a chance anytime soon. Why not tank, go from there, and you can get hated on, but this is what the Astros did, and then it led to like a freaking dynasty. Now I don't think the Rockies ownership are smart enough to be doing that. I remember at one point during COVID, there was like a rumor that the analytics team was having to do team laundry or something like that. Like I feel like they're just idiots and they just happen to suck. But realistically, if I was running the Rockies right now, understanding the road map in a division with the Dodgers, Padres, even the Giants, what am I even trying to create? So I'd rather suck, tank a couple years of picks, and then in 5 years see where I'm at, right? Get out of a couple of these bad contracts. But the Rockies aren't doing that on purpose. You look at that Arenado contract they gave that they gave to the Cardinals. They don't know what they're doing. So sometimes you do the right thing on accident. All right, Yankees, we don't have to split the atom. They have a 7-run total. They're in cores. Kyle Freeland, though, I said it before, I think he could be kind of a spoiler for a stack when we get those Betty Davis eyes on a team. He doesn't give up a ton of homers. Elevated ground ball rate to both sides of the plate. High average allowed. So I hope the Yankees go out there and drop $1 million for real life purposes. But from a single game standpoint, I kind of am cool with 20% of the field stacking Yankees here. And I'll take my shots from Great American in like a single entry. You know what I mean? That's what I'm doing there. So obviously we're not playing Freeland. Like some free. Get our projections for 4%. Freeland is at, yeah, no, it's certainly not defending their ownership. I'm just saying, as much as we meme them from sucking, it's kind of the best thing that could happen to them for the next 5 years. Second best thing is somebody with some money go in there and buy, because I think you can make a fun Rockies team playing analytics. Like you can moneyball that team, park, but they just don't know. they're let's go for outs. He may not have outs because of weather. I'm gonna go 17, 15, 14 and a half. Really doesn't matter. Never pitching free. Playing main slate? Yeah. I guess I'm lollygagging. It's going a little slower than I would want, but I'm just chilling on a Saturday, y'all. We got one more game on this early slate for A side, and we'll spit out the projections. Try Midland, Jake Worthington, Randall King. Probably not your bag yet, but you'll get there. Lunatic, dude. How does Luis Ortiz look today? He pitching isn't he? Can I take him for Ortiz? No. Guardians 460 RA. Maybe. We'll dig into his stats in a little bit. Feel like a front of the line guy. All right, one more game on this early slate. We'll open up the stack rating for that. All right, for some reason, the Orioles and Red Sox game is on the DraftKings slate, even though it starts basically 30 minutes from the main slate. So the Fanduel side is probably the more time efficient slate to target, and you only have to play one pitcher. But this will be game 2 of a doubleheader, yeah. Trevor Rogers. Hey, Rogers. Yeah, I don't know how this happens, bro. Either put this on the main slate or you just take it off completely. Why is this lingering on to the early slate? I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. We're just gonna put together a picture project. Hello, Meyer. .8 run total for the Orioles, 5 for the Red Sox. Both pitchers are attackable. Trevor Rogers. It's that 7.71 ERA, 5 starts in the minors, 15.1 innings pitched, 18 Ks, a 165 whip. So that's not what you want. Lefty on lefty, 5 walks in 5.1 innings, 333 average, but a homer. I mean, that's horrendous. Hey, it's got a 2 ground out to air out ratio. So there's that. 2.4 on the whip. 11 innings to righties, 14 Ks, 79 average, 2 walks, homers. And then we know what we get in which. So we're going offense first. Probably Bregman's dead, yeah. I hate ever having to list. So here. And a half. Is there anybody that more quality start? I don't want to do that. Keller, I don't want to do that. They do, but there is weather. I'm gonna give him some win points. He's heavily implied for that. I'll give him 2. All right, that's that. So let's go open up the early slate in the MLB grind projections. It's us Framber for Fanduel scoring. Framber, Fried, Wu, Eller, Ray, and there's a pretty big drop, like a 7-point drop from top 3 to 4, 5, 6. DraftKings 4 point. So that's probably where the concentration of pitcher ownership is going to be. And then Max Fried, you can make a case that he drops even more based on the field owner. He drops even more in field ownership based on the weather. We go to stack rating, early slate. Get Yankees, Cubs, Giants, Orioles, Padres. Cincy is like got like a little Cinderella love for Cincy. No weather in it. No other big weather. Can't imagine open in mid. Wait, anything? Philly but wins in Chicago. Do we dock that game a couple points? Because they're already kind of going crazy in the ball. back there, and I don't like it. Pretty positive. Like the Red Sox and Giants. My single entry stack would probably be Great American Ballpark. Projections have the Yankees absorbing a lot of ownership. I can just paint a range of outcomes for Freeland trolls. With that said, Yankees are good. And this bullpen sucks in his Coors Field. But you kind of, you look at the bottom half of this Yankees lineup, paint a picture of failure here. A lot of negative WRC pluses against lefties. Freeland not giving up a ton of homers. You got to pay $5 to $7K for these guys. So if that's going to be 20% owned, going the other way. But man, I don't love it. But that's baseball, Susan. We got to make those type of plays, right? All right. So this slate closes in like 30 minutes, right? Or box in like 30 minutes for the first one. Tax. Yeah, Fanduel's over 20%. Fanduel, dude. This slate, top 2 owned team, like you can put 32%, 33% ownership on the Yankees and Rangers. And it's just like, man, I don't want to go like grab a single entry real quick and just go fade that. Everything already filled up with this thought. This is Quinn Pickens out. Oh. Look at that freaking satellites. Dang. God dang, the Fanduel lobby is dry right now for this main slate. Yeah, well, had more thought, more foresight. All right, let's get into the main slate tonight. We got a 5-game main slate. By the way, let me release projections. You guys want access to the spreadsheet, the stack ratings, the pitcher projections, all that stuff for the early slate and the main slate. Bell's behind the paywall at MLBgrind.com. Click premium memberships. There's week subs, month subs, and lock in for the rest of the year. That'll get you the spreadsheet. That'll get you Discord. Got anything? Questions for? You just tag me. Open. Oh, gotta resort the bond. Judgy. Kyle Tucker's really high in the bond detector too. And Will Benson from Reds. Benson, Dela Cruz, Friedel. I noticed has been up here a lot. Usually you can get him at like 800, 900, but today's just 600, so that's good for Friedel. The Reds look like such a fun single entry. Gonna screw. Dumped it. Let's give him something to talk about. I forgot. Anytime I try to deposit on freaking the website, it's like, yeah, you're not deposit. Anytime I try to register on the website, like, you're not a legal state. Gotta like, which is what I want to stack there. Dude, Heath, I'm in the same boat, man. I kind of want to just go fire off some reds and single entries. See what happens. I prefer it on Fanduel, because then I don't have to deal with the headache of Fenway. We'll be sitting in first place, and all of a sudden the Red Sox and Orioles game goes off. But there's not much left on Fanduel, so whatever. The big Galaxy brain it. Oh, itchy. All right, main slate tonight, 7:05. Blue Jays. Oh, shit. This is projected, not confirmed. Vladdy. So, George. Here. There. Larger. Jose Barrios on the bump for the Blue Jays. On the Rays side, we got a confirmed lineup: Yandy Diaz, Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau, Junior Caminero, Jonathan Aranda, Jose Caballero, Danny Jansen, Simpson, and Shane Baz on the bump. Confirm we can greenlight these lineup. Blue Jays run total 4.3, Rays run total 4.4. Keep putting it out there, but daily reminder: Tampa Bay is friggin' hot, and this isn't the Trop, so they are outside in almost 90-degree weather. A little bit. No, like wind assistance or anything like that, but it's there. 23% carry rate for Shane Baz, 1.41 on the whip. A lot of power allowed this season, both sides of the plate, and a sub 19% K rate to righties. So he's been striking out lefties more than righties. He's facing a lineup that's half and half, but the righties are dangerous. Specifically, Vladdy Jr. With a 892 OPS, a 15% K rate, 153 WRC plus. Good spot for Vladdy. Have himself a good game. And then inversely, Jose Barrios, a lot of power to both sides of the plate, 21% K rate, 5.1 on the expected ERA, and almost a 12% barrel rate. So you get 90-degree temperatures, two pitchers with over an 11% barrel rate. Bad things happen to good people. So I'm gonna go Blue Jays rate. I'm really not that intrigued by the K rates. Rates. They had like almost similar 18 and a half. That's how we grade that game out. Keith, you're gonna get me in trouble, dude. Yeah, on Fanduel, I already effed up on Fanduel. That lobby, the only thing left in that lobby is like the big field, which I don't mind taking a look at. I got a hunch. Got a hunch. It's a good opportunity. Michael King scratch. That's huge. That really makes that play easy. On Reynolds starting for. All right, Mayday. We got the funk. Oh. Dude, am I a scumbag right now? I'm a scumbag. Guys, there's too much going on here for me to not try and go get action on this now. Tell me a top 3 projected pitcher gets scratched 20 minutes before lock. On a slate that I already kind of like. Like, King is gonna still be owned. People. That slate had confirmed lineups for a while on Fanduel. I just can't reserve entries. On these sites, because on my computer, they don't think I'm in a legal state. Whatever. I just need to say that I did it. That's from the Red Sox. I don't really know the lineup that's going to come out, but it'll probably be like Devers, Jaron Duran, Rayu, Christian Campbell. Need to do a quick one. Definitely Devers. This might just be a bullpen game for the Padres here. I want Will Benson. These Bucks are. Dude, they're so goddamn. One. Oh, we gotta get rid of. stuck. Ellie, Benson, Hayes, or we come down off of. Give me the ballpark. The whole point of me doing Hayes and me. Always be scrolling. Yeah, Atlanta's certainly looking a little bit more intrigued. Honestly, that might shake up that ownership. Might just straight up roll. Big Frank. But the Suzuki split's not great. Tucker, Benson, Ellie, Bucks. Already got looks in the lineup, don't I? 3. So 78. Pretty late enough. Get in the bond detector. Aya's been raking. Their base kind of sucks. Turner gives me some piece. Lefty. Dude, that's the whole point, man. I want to stack this ballpark. Young, clean. Young is a loose touch to Haggerty. Loose. But yeah, I guess you said it might. Or you just want to put a my mother effer. For the complexities. I don't want to grab this Haggerty, dude. I'm thinking Haggerty. All right, and that leaves us $100. Can't really upgrade. Just to say we did it. We're in there. All right, we're gonna get back to the main. So Michael King's not going to be 0% owned. That's why I did that, and I was already kind of on. The ultimate there would be to go through some Brave stacks. Did that move their run total at all? All right. Back into the background, the sweat. We already did this first game. Let's get the second game thrown in here. Cleveland. Wonder what happened to King there. He's having a great season, so unless they traded him back to the Yankees before the game, like that's possible. To get like who could the Yankees give up that's worth a lot? Like Marcus Stroman, that would be a huge haul. Yankees to take on that risky Michael King. Let's see that. The Yankees take all the risk there. Now there's some like Yankee fan lore trying to get back. Supposed to be a free agent. Guardians with a 3.9 run total. Tigers 4.3. AC Mize taking on Luis L. Ortiz. Ortiz a 13% swinging strike rate, a 26.5% overall K rate, 1.4 on the whip, 5.1 on the expected ERA. Meanwhile, Mize a 21% K rate. He's climbing. He's picked that up 4% over last season. 12.3% swinging strike rate. I've been saying it. This guy, there's a good pitcher in him, and I think it's natural progression going for these youngsters to the big leagues. Find their big league arm. His strikeouts have been coming against lefties at a higher clip than righties. A 28% K rate to lefties so far. In the projected Guardians lineup, there's actually a lot of lefties. Just Arias and Lane Thomas projected righty here, so there might be some strikeouts to be had. Lane Thomas also strikes out at a high clip, but then Manzardo 27%, Bo Naylor and Nolan Jones aggregate 28%. So not an insane thought to look at Casey Mize and Comerica against a team with just two hitters that have a worth mentioning WRC plus against righties. And thinking about who's on this slate, Casey Mize is your most... Man, pitching is certainly not the same as the early slate. I'll tell you what, Casey Mize is your most expensive guy coming off the IL. Hasn't pitched since the... All right, that's what we got. No pitcher projections for that. We're gonna give him a K rate. We're gonna slept on his shoulder awkwardly. We have to get the Braves now, so it's definitely a better matchup for the Braves. But I mean, it's not like it's gas cans in the bullpen, but it is an unexpected situation. At least it feels like for us. I feel like King probably got to the ballpark. It was like, but also, how do you sleep? Yeah, I'm a pitcher, millions of dollars. I'm gonna sleep this way. So I will say this: if you're catching a bullpen game for the Padres, Robert Suarez, their closer, not likely to pitch this game. Jason Adam threw 2 pitches yesterday, stole a win. 24 pitches the day before. They've used him 2 games in a row. He's one of their setup men. They have been using this bullpen probably more than they want. And this might mean that Wandy Peralta absolutely has to be part of this game. And that's probably best case scenario for the Braves. Then you can get the positive splits for everyone, for Cunha, for Riley, for Una. And they also have another lefty, Matsui, didn't pitch yesterday, so you might get some positive platoon matchups. And those guys, I mean, Wandy, who has the highest XFIP and lowest K rate, might be a good spot for the Braves, and that'll be really ambushing the slate with ownership. 20 minutes to react. Great. Use here. So 15.5 and 6. Dodgers and the Mets. Yeah, confirmed lineups for both teams here. A rain delay yesterday. Dude, that would be so DFS for the for the Braves to be the nuts now. With a 20-minute reaction time. Feels like old school NBA. So alright, what are you doing, girl? Can't see it, but my cat is into my monitor. Rubbing her head against. Leaving her scent. I'm Tyrone. Confirmed. Dodgers 4.2. Little Mets 4.5. David Peterson taking on Tony Gonsolin. Gonsolin 28% K rate. Pretty good. 21.5% K rate for Peterson. Either pitcher, somebody I run to pick on, but both offenses are worth getting to based on talent. 1.93 home run per 9 allowed to righties and a 1.69 lefties for far. So definitely some power woes. Whoa. Even though the barrel rate's less than 8%, maybe that comes down a little bit, but yeah, I think I'm offense first. I wouldn't fault you. On this slate, you have to get to uncomfortable pitching. Go Dodgers, extra slide it back. Mets are actually favorites here. Slightly. And we get into being 1.5. Piercing the 50. Yeah. Great. In. Against Ramsey yesterday in that rain game. So they're trying to get some length out of Peterson. I guess the Dodgers, who usually don't push pitchers, try to get some length out of Gonsolin. Cool. Not really weather concerns there. We got 2 more games to wrap up. All the way to Sacramento. Jeffrey Springs got scratched yesterday. This game. I'll pull up yesterday's stream and click play. Now, Phillies are gonna be the apple of a lot of eyes. This ballpark, this matchup. For Sanchez, probably going to lead the slate in ownership. high risk, high reward matchup. We know the Athletics can put up some runs, and ballpark isn't the best, but we've seen Sanchez. His home park is already a tough ballpark in Citizens Bank. Seen him go into Coors, dude. At 9K, value is really subjective on this slate. You look at what's on the board. Is Chris Sanchez one of the most likely to be the highest scoring pitcher, no matter what the score is, even if it's 18? Probably yes. Less likely going to make his own. But we're in. So we're going to go Sanchez, Phillies, some Athletics. How did the Athletics look again? Solid. Phillies have a run total 5.8. Athletics 0.5. And finally, last game on today's slate. Marlins, the Angels. Check the lineup. Jesus Sanchez, Augustin Ramirez. They led off Augustin yesterday. That'll be a lot of fun if they keep doing that. Connor Norby. I saw Connor Norby have a tweet the other day that popped up on my page, and he was talking about I think he was hating on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for doing what we hate LeBron James doing. Is, I guess, ticky-tack foul, selling fouls or whatever. Like, where do I know that name from? Connor Norby. They tell basketball players, shut up and dribble. Shut up and hit fungos, bro. Okay? Allowed to have an opinion. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see pro players tweet about other pro sports. Marlins have a 3.7 run total. Angels 5. Soriano take it on Quantrill. Quantrill threw a immaculate inning his last outing, so that was cool. This would be hashtag DFS for the Angels win streak in their crazy ISOs against a contact pitcher to come crashing through the floor on a small slate, and Quantrill somehow be the nuts here. Under 7K for Quantrill. 16% K rate on the season, 154 on the whip, 5.6 expected ERA, high average to righties, high home run per 9 to righties. This lineup's about a half and half, but boy, are their righties good. Zach Neto, Taylor Ward, Jorge Soler, Logan O'Hoppe, all guys that spell doom for Quantrill's weaknesses: the high home run per 9, the high line drive rate, the high hard contact rate, 41% hard contact up there. So without a doubt, we're looking at the Angels. Then inversely, Jose Soriano, 18.5% K rate, 1.48 whip. A lot of inability to throw strikes consistently. Aggregate, but 11% walk rate. This Marlins team is just the guys. Not a bunch of low, but not a bunch of high walk rates. Not a bunch of low, but not a bunch of high K rates. I guess aggregate. I guess that statement's just false. What I just said. There is a bunch of low and a bunch of high K rates, but put it all together, 21.82% aggregate K rate against righties last year. Kind of just have to click names on this slate on DraftKings, the pitcher spot. And I tell you what, I don't think I've ever had Cal Quantrill in my pitcher pool before, but I might. Yeah, I might. And you see, he's not immune to some flukeness. Heck, we've gotten 15 or more DraftKings points in 1, 2, 3, 4 of his last 10. So the range of outcomes is there. This matchup is certainly teams that you can accidentally get some strikeouts on with their high K rates. So I hate to do it. I think on this slate, your back's against the wall, clicking some names here. 6,700 and an SP2 spot. You might be able to. Now, I gotta assume the Angels are going to garner a lot of ownership based on recency bias, the matchup, and in fact, you know, this slate isn't giving us cores. So we look at the night slate ownership. The Phillies, Dodgers, then the Angels. The Angels are in double digits. So, no one's going to be playing Quantrill. So I do think that's one way to attack this slate is get reverse leverage. Not fun. I'm just saying it's a strategy. Sanchez, let's go pull up Jackson, Jeffrey Spring. Sanchez walk 13% to lefties. Go Springs. Wait, I got that way wrong. 8 pitcher. And a half, 15. They're giving Soriano basically 18 out. That's gonna look unique in the pitch. Soriano comes in at the top projection, probably because of those. I guess I should go give Sanchez a little bit of a boost. I'll give him 0.5. Little shot at the win, little shot at the QS, but not crazy. And I mean, Soriano is implied for. That'll probably do nothing but raise her. That gave me Sanchez jumping Soriano, so I feel better about that. My God, does it get ugly. Pretty fat. Main stack rating. Which is all right, so main slate shakes out Phillies, Dodgers, Angels, Blue Jays, Mets. A lot of 5+s that show how bad pitching is. But the Guardians come in really, really low. That might make me like Mize a little bit more. I think with Mize, we're just not exactly sure how far we might be able to push him. We have rehab starts where it's not like he missed months, right? I might be a little light on his. He went 6 and 7 innings on the first and. Oh, that's Major League. I'm stupid. That's Major League. I thought it was gonna show me. I guess he just didn't have a rehab, so I guess he went simulated. So because of that, I don't really know what to give him, but I guess I would say at least be cognitive. I gave him what 15 and a half. 16.5. I feel like that's so fair, but I guess it would be crazy for him to go more. But the matchup for him, like if that number was 17.5 or 18, if I was able to do that based on him not having a couple weeks off, I think he would be the number one pitcher in the projections, and that's kind of what he was priced to be. What up, G Money? All right, let me update a couple lineups. Night slate. Out of here, Guardians. Hit the Quan. Thomas, Graham, Ricardo, Annas, Demon, Lindsay Noel. Yeah, this is one of those early slates look more fun than the main. That Braves curveball, kind of crazy. Other than that, we're good. All right, I actually think we're just good. So tomorrow we're not streaming on Sunday. Also got wrestling all day tomorrow. But that slate locks at noon, so we should be good. I should be able to get all that in before I gotta hit the road. And then Monday. So Monday's Memorial Day, guys. There's some all-day baseball, looks like. So I gotta think about how we cover that, because I imagine tomorrow's gonna be a marathon of a day for me in real life. We'll see even how they break this slate up. This is weird. 12-10, 110, 120, 205. Pretty spaced out. Anyway, Memorial Day weekend, I guess. Be safe. You guys going out there hitting them lakes, partying. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Blah, 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 blah. Hope you guys crush it tonight. I'll be around the Discord. You got anything else for me? Twitter.com/Gundacker. Otherwise, go to MLBGrind.com. Get yourself a sub. Later, man. Love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.